Now, last year, I was asked about my thoughts on using the Rorqual in Cobalt Edge, or in general, wormhole space. And I thought about it for quite a while, and first thing that popped in my mind is, well, Cobalt Edge is a high risk, high reward area. Well, in general, all the wormhole systems are classified as high risk, high reward. But flying this ship in those systems is, well, let's say very similar to getting a heart attack because that's the level of anxiety that I would have flying this thing. Now, the Rorqual's stats haven't been changed much. It has received the Capital Energizer Hull bonus plus 180 seconds, so an extra 3 minutes boost in the module's active duration time. This is one of the new modules that has been added a couple months ago for super capitals, and most of the capitals are able to equip this special module. Basically, you can look at it as a panic button, and on this ship it should last about 8 minutes, I believe, since the default duration time is about, I think, 5 minutes, depending on the ship, I guess, but it will work like a panic button on the Rorqual. Now on to the builds. I did include the classic, the older build that I have on the Rorqual here, because I almost forgot that the mining implants, the mining rigs are equipped on the, are not equipped on the combat slots, but on the engineering slots, which means that you can have both tank and you also have the extra mining performance that this ship is known for. And I did go with full tank. After all, if you're going in unknown space, tank is definitely the most important part, and it does seem to be fairly tanky. The Rorqual does have a bonus on the remote shield boosters. I thought about using missiles, but you can't fit anything else besides the remote boosters on the Rorqual in high slots. I have some common modules in the medium slots, and for the drones I have both the exhumers and the normal mining drones. I also do have some of the other combat drones. The Rorqual can theoretically be a very nasty drone mode. It has some very nice bonus on drones, and overall can have some pretty scary DPS for a industrial ship. And drones are going to be your, well, one of your defenses, I guess, but this ship should definitely not be all alone mining. You always have to have protection and cover while piloting these ships. They are very juicy targets, and they will be very juicy targets in the Cobalt air systems, or in general any wormhole system is going to be, you know, this thing is going to be a high value target. If someone sees it, they'll definitely try to gather a fleet to kill it. Now in the low slots, I went with a classic tank build, and this ship does have two special modules that are specially designed for it. You have the red module, and you also have the blue one. Now I'm personally more a fan of the red module, besides giving some pretty nasty drone damage. It also does give you some very nice mining drone bonus. So overall, it does seem like on paper that this module is giving more DPS and more mining performance than the blue one, although the blue one also has its use, and I guess depending on what you're doing, depending on what you're after with the ship, you can choose the red or the blue one. I would personally use the red one, and here you can take a look at the stats of the blue one. So I mean, both are very interesting modules, but from what I've seen, most popular is definitely the red one. From all the Rorqual kill mails that I've seen, the red one is definitely the one that I see the most on these ships. And this module is ridiculously expensive as well. Last time I checked, it was 150 billion, although I have no idea how much it costs now, but yeah, definitely a very, very, very valuable module. And this is in general a very expensive ship. The Rorqual is one of the more expensive ships in the game at the moment. And yeah, a cloaking device. Now, it is I was asked to see if the cloaking device can be activated while the ship is in the industrial mode. So that's one thing that I'll be checking out today. And let me quickly refuel this thing. Now, this thing does eat a lot of fuel, and if you're going to Cobalt Edge, definitely make sure to have a lot of fuel on disposal. And then there's the question, well, how would you even transport this thing into the Cobalt air systems, or let's say in any wormhole space system? Well, at the moment, the Rorqual can only enter via the large wormhole. It can't use the small one. Small ones are for subcabels, and small ones are generally speaking safer. The large ones are definitely much easier to find, and they're also much more dangerous because you might have a camp inside. And definitely don't even think about yeeting the ship alone into a wormhole system via a large wormhole. Always have a scout. And I would say if a pilot does decide to bring a ship like this into Cobalt Edge, it is most likely going to be in a specific system. Most likely a system that they have taken for, system that they have occupied basically. Systems where they can't control who goes in and who goes out. Basically, if you have sovereignty in Cold Edge, then you might want to bring this thing over there. Although, again, getting this thing in Cobalt Edge and in any Cobalt Edge system or in a wormhole system is going to be a pain. And then we will see if it's actually worth to bring such a ship into Cobalt Edge with all that danger. I mean, if you have scouts or Black Ops ships, I mean, you'll have Core-Top ships and all these ships running around, basically. And if someone does spot this ship, they will try to get out of the wormhole, they will bookmark the system where you're at, and then they'll try to actually get there with a fleet. Maybe through a different wormhole, maybe they will gather a Black Ops fleet and then they sino in. I mean, because of how Cobalt Edge works, no local and stuff like that, it is very dangerous to use a ship like this over there. But if you can somehow control all the wormhole entrances, if you can control who goes in, who goes out, and if you have a visual and everything, then it should not be a big problem. And then you also have to have a place where to dock this thing. And the ordinary stations, there is one station in Cobalt Edge, NPC station, and the rest has to be basically built. And here you can take a look at the active stats of this thing. I mean, it is very tanky. I did a good job on the tank. It's 6 million 8 points, a very decent resistance value as well. So yeah, this ship is definitely not going to be destroyed in 3 seconds. It is going to last for quite a while. And it should even be able to hold against a bunch of battleships as well, so it's definitely quite tanky. Now for the nanocores, I don't know how many of you guys have a nanocore for the Rorqual. Probably not many, because these nanocores are expensive, but you have 4 nanocores available for this ship. And I think I'll be using the Illusionary Ghost, just because how awesome. Now, I love how this core looks. I would say that the Illusionary Ghost might be one of the best looking nanocores ever released. And it just sucks that it is obtainable the way it is. Not really my favorite way to obtain a nanocore, basically. I forgot how much it costed. I actually forgot the chance of getting a nanocore. Maybe it will be changed down the road. We will see how the chance stuff will progress towards 2024 since of the new rule, but maybe it's going to be a big win for us, because then we might not have to have a chance to obtain a nanocore, or maybe it's just a single purchase. And if it's a single purchase, hey, I'm fine with that. So let's see what I will do with the nanocore. I love the transformation of the ship. It looks awesome. They did a fantastic job with the whole graphics and with the way how the ship is transforming into the industrial and normal mode. Now,
Docking request accepted.
I think let me go and show you the implant. Now, the implant for the Rorqual, or the implant for any mining ship, the mining enhancement, is a pretty good implant for the job. It also has some PvP applications. The so-called Rorqual nuke is one of the most hilarious concepts that I've heard, and one of the most hilarious concepts that I've tried to pull off. Now, the bomb, the explosive part of the implant was bugged, and I have to double check. I have to actually see if that's fixed, but it used to not do damage when it explodes. So that kind of sucked because I really wanted to see how much damage I would be able to do. And I'll just quickly show the stats of the whole implant and of the secondaries, so we can see what I'm going to be working with here. But the Rorqual nuke is definitely a very hilarious concept, and in theory, in a very big theory, if you can manage to have a bunch of these ships explode at the same time, you might be able to even kill a super capital in a single hit. Well, in a single alpha, collective alpha kill, I guess. But yeah, very hilarious idea. And maybe down the road in the future, when ship prices go down, eventually, that's going to happen eventually. Then the Rorqual nuke option might actually be a viable thing to do in large-scale fights. Just throw a bunch of Rorquals at your enemy and shoot them, and when they explode, they just wipe the whole fleet. Kind of like a small-scale AoE doomsday of a Titan. And speaking of Titans, those things are going to be added probably down the road as well, so yeah, it's going to be fun to play around with these ships as well. So, as for the general units, well, I will focus on defensive units, so I will leave the general units up to the player. If you want more tank, you can go for tank. If you want more drone speed, velocity, or explosion velocity, or depends, I mean, what you need from the ship, you can basically pick whatever unit you want. Now I just couldn't leave without using the Legionary Ghost Channel core. This is the core that I'll be using, and as you can see, it's going to be only the primary attribute. I am not going to be upgrading the core. I'm using the core just for the looks, basically. I love how it looks, and it's definitely going to make the ship much more pleasant to look at. Alright, well, let me show you how much the drones are mining. Now it has a good bonus on mining. Honestly, it's a very interesting core when it gives you some very nice stats for the Rorqual. But let's undock and let's see how much this ship can be, well, how much it can mine, I guess.
Undocking.
I mean, it's still a the Rorqual nuke is still in my mind. It's one thing I have to try out. I'll do it for one of the next videos, I guess. So let's quickly turn everything on. Let's go into the industrial mode. I mean, I love the transformation of this vehicle, and it does mean that when we do get the special tier 3 destroyers, that they will also have the special mode, and they'll also be able to transform. I mean, they were able to do that with this ship. I believe they're also capable to do that, to give the animations for other ships as well. So we will see how that will go. And it is January. No idea what's the next update. I've been asked many times what's the next big thing. Well, anything is possible at this moment. Have no couple updates need to pass in order for me to figure out what their uploads or update schedule is going to be like. And here you can take a look at the mining amount. It's pretty good. Maybe it's not good for your standards. I mean, depending on what ship you have, and you might have more, you might have less mining amount on your Rorqual, but it is, I would say, decent. And I think it's time to see how this thing will work in Cobalt Edge. Now, I know that this is kind of silly, and this is probably the I've done some pretty stupid things in this game. I've done some hilarious things. I've done some stupid things. But this is probably one of the more dumb things that I'll do, because I mean, one huge disclaimer here: do not attempt to fly the Rorqual in Cobalt Edge alone. Just don't do that. Don't eat this ship in Cobalt Edge. Just don't. If you plan to do that, make sure that your alliance or corporation is okay with that, and make sure that you have a lot of scouts. Make sure that you have an outpost over there, and make sure that no one else can get to your ship, and make sure that no one else knows that the ship is actually there. Because you can bet, you can just bet, if someone does smell this thing in Cobalt Edge, and if they can pinpoint down what system you're at and what system you're in, you can definitely expect people trying to get there to kill it. So yeah, what I'm doing here, I'm testing stuff, right? So I don't have to worry about being jumped. But that doesn't mean that I'm not gonna get jumped. You never know. But do not fly this ship alone in a system like this, because that's just a death sentence. That's just playing with the devil at that point. So yeah, these ships are designed to be used with a fleet. They are designed to be used with a corporation, with alliance, and they're ships that are not solo ships. You can use them solo. I mean, I'm not preventing you, but I'm just saying it's a very bad idea to use these ships solo, because it's a Rorqual. Everyone wants to kill a Rorqual, right? So you just should not be using this alone. But again, if you want to, I'm not gonna stop you. So, besides testing out how this ship works, I've been asked to see how much ETH can it mine in a 1 hour in Cobalt Edge, which is something I will do. Now don't worry, this video is not going to be 1 hour long. I'll just, you know, I just cut short from one moment to the other moment after 1 hour, and then we will see how much ETH it has in the cargo hold. And of course, I'm very curious about the actual price of what I have in the cargo hold. So those of you who know the actual prices, who are involved in mining, and you know, those of you who actually fly the ship and use it, at the end of the video when I show you the cargo hold, tell me what's the actual price of what it has inside, because again, the prices over here might be changed, might be inflated, although for the most part over here on this server the prices are directly replicated and copied from the live server, so it should be nearly identical. But again, I would leave you guys to tell me at the end of the video, when you of course look at when you see the estimated price in the cargo hold. I'm very curious how much the actual price is, because again, I'm no miner. I have no idea. I know something about mining, but I'm not a professional miner over here, right? I might be shooting ships, right? But I'm not mining rocks. Well, not doing that yet, but you know. So those of you who are more experienced with the price tags and stuff, feel free to tell me what you think about the cargo hold of the ship later when I show the cargo hold. Now the drones, well, I locked the rocks because I was very curious to see if the mining drones can actually collect gas, and I forgot if they can do that in EVE Online. I think they can, but I forgot. It's been a while actually. But over here it does seem like the mining drones on the Rorqual can collect gas. Now you have new gas in the Cobalt Edge, Floran C50 and C70, which was quite pricey when I last checked. And you also have the new systems in the Cobalt Expanse, which also do have belts, and they also have some new materials over there. So the new stuff is definitely in the new systems, and you can go there if you want to manufacture stuff. Then you can go and basically mine and collect gas and then use that. So definitely you have stuff to do here. Also, how my fuel is. It's funny because the cargo hold of the ship is larger than the fuel tank, or maybe not funny. So here you can take a look at start of the mining process, and it does collect gas. It also does seem to process it. Now the red module is doing the processing, and I believe the blue module is maybe better than the red module when it comes to processing. I've had players tell me that the blue one is better for processing, and then I also have players that told me that the red one is better. Again, I have absolutely no idea which one is actually better at processing. I know that the red one, it just seems like it's giving more mining bonuses, and it does seem to give more drone DPS bonus. So I guess that's one of the reasons why I'm using. I actually prefer the red module because of the extra DPS, and of course it does give some nice mining stats as well. But you tell me if the blue one is actually better than the red one. Again, I know a lot of things about the game, and when I don't know something, well, I just straight say I don't know. I don't know much. Well, I know stuff about mining, right? But I'm not expert on mining. So that's what I'm trying to say here. Maybe I'm quite knowledgeable in PvP, but for mining, not so much. Well, I mean, maybe I do know stuff, but I just prefer more experienced players to explain something when well, they have obviously more experience in this thing that I'm doing here. Anyway, and to see if I can cloak while in the industrial mode. Now this is one thing I've was been interested about for quite a while actually, because it's kind of classified as an active module. So if it's an active module, then you should not be able to cloak. But if it is an exception, then it could cloak. Now I was close to the icon there, on the beacon on the belt. So I have to turn off the special mode to move, because you can't move while the special mode is active. The ship is basically immobilized, and you have to disable the industrial mode in order to move around. And once I am a bit further away from the beacon from that thing over there, I will try to cloak, and then I'll try to enable the industrial mode. Let's see if I can actually. Oh, it actually works. So you can cloak with the industrial mode active. That's interesting. Now, is it only going to last a cycle? I think it's not going to last a cycle. Yeah, well, that's interesting. This is definitely quite interesting. I actually expected that it's not going to go into the special mode. Now, I forgot if I tested this before. I think I didn't. I really think I didn't test this out so far, but now I did, so yeah, okay. Let's start the mining process, and let's see how much ISK this thing will get in an hour. Now, I say an hour, I mean, depends. If this gets a billion in an hour, that's kind of funny, because if you can technically sit here a whole day, that would be 24 billion a day, and that's kind of wild. So, the Rorqual is definitely the best performing mining ship. I mean, it's a capital mining ship, and I also do the same thing with the other mining ships, because I'm also very curious to see how much a little Venture can also do, or how much the Covetor can do. And I also want to test out how the other ships will perform in this region when it comes to mining. It's one of the things that I haven't done so far, I believe. Well then, yeah, seems to be filling up the ore hold slowly. Now I know that this thing can hold ore like there's no tomorrow. I mean, it's a huge ship and it can empty a belt in no time. And I remember there was this, well, not exactly a bug, but recently they have increased the belt size, I believe, just because the Rorquals have been emptying it in 15 minutes. So there's the road has definitely been bumpy for some time now. I don't know how bumpy it is now, but I definitely think it was a bit better. So, believe it or not, the belt has been emptied very quickly. So let me align, and I will show you the ore holds from one entire belt. Now I don't know, this belt doesn't seem to be anything special. You have special belts, don't think they spawned at the moment, but the more special belts seem to be giving more better ore, and overall they have more stuff inside. So they might be giving more ISK, or more value, I would say. But I have cleared one average Cobalt Edge belt here. So how much did it give in ISK? I will open the ore hold very soon, just waiting for the ship to enter warp, because this thing is obviously not the fastest. It's a huge capital ship. So I have 637 million in the ore hold. This was collected in 30 minutes. So you tell me if this price is any accurate from to the real price.
Warp drive active.
If it is accurate, then I don't know, maybe not bad. Seems okay, I guess. I was basically AFK for 30 minutes until I see the belt vanish. So for basically doing nothing, maybe pretty good rewards, maybe not. Again, those of you who are experts in mining, then tell me what you think about that. But we have about maybe 25-30 more minutes for the 1 hour that I mentioned, and then we will see what the total estimate on the end will be. Maybe I think it's going to be about 1.2 billion total if I go flat 1 hour. So 1.2 billion is for 1 hour in Cobalt Edge with this current, I guess, market price tag. that we see here. Maybe that's not too bad. I don't know. Again, no expert in mining, so I have no idea if 1.2 billion in 1 hour is good or bad. But about 32 billion ISK in one day of just mining doesn't seem all too bad for me. Okay, well, let's launch the drones and let's see what happens next. Well, I mean, we all know what's gonna happen next. We will be going fast forwards 25-30 minutes, and I will show you the cargo hold of the Rorqual. Think it should be quite interesting. Alright, welcome back after 25-30 minutes. 967 million ISK in the ore hold of the Rorqual. Now again, I have absolutely no idea how accurate this is, but for me basically doing nothing, this does seem okay, at least for me, well, for my standards I guess, but does seem okay. And I didn't wait full 1 hour. This was below 1 hour, around 45-50 minutes I would say. So I don't know, does seem, if you can somehow manage to use the ship the whole day non-stop, 24, 35, 38, 40 billion ISK per hour with this current price tag, doesn't seem all too bad to me. I'm basically a dreadnought every day. So no idea if it's worth it. Well, I mean, I say worth it. Is the stress worth it? Because you cannot pay me enough to fly an actual Rorqual in Wormhole space. Yeeted in like 3.5 seconds. that's what I'm saying. So yeah, you tell me what you think about this interesting idea, this interesting concept. Rorqual in Wormhole space, or in this case Rorqual in Cobalt Edge. I find the idea interesting, but I don't know if it's good for the health. Not really sure if it's good for the health, because I know I would not be able to do anything while this thing is in Cold Edge after knowing how much it costs, because losing this will hurt for sure, and that's, I would say, the main problem. Price is the main problem. The insurance cost, the ship cost, everything kind of expensive. But that will be it for today. Again, I like the idea. It's funny. It's hilarious and funny, and how risky it is.
Docking request accepted.
Probably one of the more risky things that you can do in the game. But I think it also has some form of, I guess, that being fun. In any case, if you guys enjoyed, feel free to like and subscribe. And with that being said, stay safe, fly safe, and as always, I'll see you next time.